Welcome to the Explainer. So today, we're going to talk about a massive AI update that's starting to tackle, one of humanity's oldest problems, the language barrier.
So, just imagine for a second, what if language was no longer a barrier to knowledge? Well, let's dive right in, because a new development from Google is getting us one step closer to making that a reality.
For years now, we've seen AI get really good at reading and writing, but the whole game is changing. Now AI isn't just, spitting out words, it's actually starting to talk and understand in languages from all over the world.
And this huge shift, it's perfectly captured in a pretty groundbreaking update to a powerful Google tool called NotebookLM.
Okay, so what exactly is NotebookLM? The easiest way to think about it is like your own personal AI research assistant. You feed it all your source material, your documents, your notes, pretty much anything, and it helps you make sense of the whole thing. Basically, its main job is to help you wrestle with information. It can organize a huge pile of research papers, it can summarize those super dense meeting notes, or just break down really complex ideas into something you can actually wrap your head around.
But look, that's just the starting point. Let's get to the update that really makes this thing a total game changer.
80. That number right there, it's not just a number. That's how many languages NotebookLM now supports. And I gotta say, this isn't some small tweak, it's a massive shift that turns this thing into a truly global tool.
And the scope of this is just wow. The tool didn't just add more languages. No way. It also went from being just about text to actually understanding audio and video. So now you can upload a lecture, a podcast, whatever, and boom, you get an instant, organized summary in dozens of different languages. Insane, right?
And this is the really important part. It's not just translating. The AI is actually understanding and summarizing the meaning of the content across all those languages. It's not just a word-for-word swap. It's getting the core ideas, the real substance.
Okay, that's the tech. But what does this actually mean for, real people in the real world? Let's take a look at the incredible opportunities this opens up. This is where things get really exciting. Think about it. A student in Kenya can listen to a physics lecture in Swahili and then, just like that, get study notes in English to use for other research. The language barrier just vanishes.
And in the business world, this is a huge deal for collaboration. Teams spread all over the planet can share meeting recordings or project docs and get on the same page almost instantly. You're cutting out all that time and money you'd normally spend on translation.
It's also a massive win for content creators. A podcaster in Spain, a YouTuber in Japan, they can now take their work and make it accessible to a gigantic global audience just by generating these super accurate summaries in a bunch of different languages.
But, of course, like with any shiny new tech, it's not all perfect. It's super important to be realistic and talk about the challenges and the limitations that are still there.
All right, so here are a few things to keep in mind. First, AI summaries can sometimes miss the cultural nuance. The subtle stuff that's so important in communication. Second, there's the whole data privacy question. What's happening with the stuff you upload? That's still a big conversation. And finally, you have to remember this is a Google tool. It lives in their world, which might limit access for some people.
So let's zoom out for a second. What does this big update really tell us about where AI is heading in general?
Yeah, this really cuts to the core of it. We're moving beyond AI as just a data crunching machine. Now, we're seeing it step into the role of a global communicator, a translator, even a teacher.
When you boil it all down, this update is a huge signpost. It's pointing to a future where information, our most valuable resource, can flow freely without getting stuck behind borders or accents or whatever language we happen to speak. AI is basically becoming that universal bridge for knowledge. And that leaves us with a really big question, doesn't it? The power is here. The capability exists. So the real question for all of us is, how are we going to use this incredible power to connect with each other, to learn, and to create something amazing across all our different cultures?